Today started on cycle 3, into the routine from which I can't be free. Also attended Harry the physiotherapist, who showed me how to exercise and not twist, and the nutritionist who said I must avoid eating brie. Ignore all the horrible knock-on effects is what I tell myself as what should come next. In September, after the chemo has finished, if cancer cells are hugely diminished, many fun months and who knows, some sex, some hopes. 11th of July 2018. Halfway through the 6 chemo slots, getting much nasty side effect grots, but they are just as expected, so could not be ejected, just have to put up with pills and shots. Another high temperature has got me again, so to hospital to see if the doc can explain what made it go high and what they can do to try to get it to go on the wane. Overnight have had a good hospital kip. My temperature to normal has dipped, but today they explained that my infection marker has gained, so have to stay on the flippin' overnight drip. If it goes up, I may have to stay for more antibiotics that they hope may kill off the infection so I can go in the direction of home and being sort of okay. Well, a second night is called for to see if in the morning my blood histology will show nothing in my cells that will ring the consultant's bells. Hope he will say, go home for tea. Good that the blood test came back fine, so I return next week for another good time, with drugs through my veins and pills enabling me to complain of being nauseous, unable to even drink wine. 8th of August. Halt. You can't have a third intravenous injection, said the chief nurse, as your blood has gone into regression, so you will have a week off. Make sure you don't cough. Good thing I don't suffer from depression. 5th of September. Rachel Bland, the star, succumbed to her cancer. An inspiration to sufferers listening to radio, a great answer. She said, don't worry about dying and forget about crying. Just ensure that you don't die in anger. 21st of September. On the subject of death, I must state that it's important for me to be absolutely straight. If I pop off any time from now, my family, they need to vow to enjoy life after a short mourning wait. A near miss with chemo, as my blood count is lower than the required amount, but they have given me a lesser dose, at least a volume quite close, so just one more shot in the arm to surmount. Going for drug therapy can be a treat. With a big smile on arrival, the nurses greet. You get to sit on a very comfortable chair, receive a nice lunch that you can share with whoever is with you. Oh, how very sweet. September 26. Just had my last chemo intravenous. A week more of pills, then I'll bet I'll feel like using my penis. For a thing that is other than peeing, but I've got to get someone agreeing who will show me the very same keenness. Again, some hopes. In the final week of that liquid in my vein, my hands and feet started to give pain, a side effect that suddenly just arrived, as if of it I'd been somewhat deprived. It better rapidly stop, or I may go down the drain. Just one more pill day to come, hoping that soon I won't be under the thumb of chemo side effects that often subjects you to feeling horrible like some sort of scum. 3rd of October 2018. Last day of pills is hooray here. Can I risk having a beer? Or a whiskey? Or both? To celebrate not having me croak? Or maybe a nice walk on, it's Brighton Pier, on South End Pier. When I hope the nausea will stop, my wife and I, both of us pop to a restaurant that cooks Dover sole, off the bone, but good as if whole. Then the fish with white wine we will mop up. That is, of course, if we're both in a state to really want to celebrate getting over the worst that made us well versed in the medical experiences and procedures to date. Follow-up CT scan time has now arrived. I wonder if someone has contrived to hide my left arm vein after 6 pricks, and with much strain the cannula went in and I survived. Tomorrow at last I can visit the dentist for root canal from which I had to desist. Because of my nasty cancer disease, my body would just not have been pleased. Contracting another infection I had to resist. Next day, off to the oncologist, Dr. Moss, who told me my CT actually showed some dross, so the scan was not conclusive, and further tests may be intrusive. What a drag, as I felt a bit of a loss. That night I got up to have a pee and felt disoriented and very dizzy. As I tried to get to the loo, I fell, bashed my shoulder. Oh, actually, it's this one. Was it? I can't remember. Bloody hell. Due to a sudden high fever. How shitty. In the hospital again. 3rd time lucky. Have I another infection, becoming an antibiotic junkie? Or is it just that I have been susceptible to germs going round and it's acceptable if you have chemo for things to be rocky? Actually, just been told that I have or had flu, so antibiotics just will not do. Anything to cure what I now still might have, but I certainly feel fine and not rough. So home and to hospital adieu. Well, we made it to Brighton for our 51st. We drank some wine, even though not much of a thirst, ate fish and chips, then up the pole tower lift, had a massage and a room upgrade as a gift from the kids who guessed that we needed to be nursed. 16th of November. As the CT scan was not that conclusive, I'm going for a PET one. That should not be that intrusive. It can find if there's still more cancer in me by injecting me with a dye and seeing my body in 3D. If there is, then I suppose that a cure will be quite elusive. Thinking about what might be growing in me, no idea as to what is the key. Is the PET scan that gives a 3D image of my abdomen and the horrors within it able to detect that I am cancer-free? Anyway, the doc's message I hope will ring true. The growth should be a reaction to my brooding flu, where cells might reactively get swollen, possibly quite near to my colon. But it's good news for me, and I hope for you. At this stage, it is incumbent to note that at my treatment at Guy's, I can gloat. The public-private partnership indeed here works a treat in a building that is replete with care, technology, and features that float my boat. 22nd of November. At last I've had my root canal treatment started. My tooth root and me are now parted, even though still in pain, looking forward to no toothache again. Waiting for so long is not for the faint-hearted. We went to see nice Dr. Kulkarni about genetics, who traced my roots without many polemics. She will arrange for a test on my cells. If a specified type of them actually dwells, then most likely inherited cancer does stick. Now we have the interesting results about Lynch syndrome. Seems not to be present in my genome, but I think I'll inform my siblings, not quite sure of their feelings, but I hope they won't worry or groan. However, it seems that the disease may be more likely in our family, but the risk we hope will be just slightly more than people can get cancer from diesel or being swooped on by a bald eagle. They might find a test program they could join wisely. At the end of November, I had another high thermometer reading. To check, I went to Royal Free A&E to see if something was breeding. They gave me tests in under an hour, saw a great doc who was very efficient and had the power to tell me I was fine and what's in me is not succeeding. Getting back to feeling mostly as I did before, not holding back as that is a bore, have started swimming again and hope I can claim that the end for now of all the gore. May 13th. Blood test for my second follow-up today. Have had 4 months of feeling great, not great. But if the marker shows cancer is back, not sure if I'll revert to the chemo track. Hope nothing comes up to not make it okay. Well, it did come back with markers at nil, so I won't have to now take any more chemo pill. In 3 months, I've got to go back for a CT scan. Meanwhile, with the nice weather, I could get a tan. If the indications show clear, then that would be brill. This is, of course, 2019 now. What will be the scan that my doctor will see. Will we hope be cancer clear? But if not, then no fear. If it can be treated, that will be the key. Well, the scan results were 100% fine, but my blood showed something might not be benign. So I had to provide another tube of blood to check if it could be cancer that will again make me supine. Well, the results did not seem conclusive. What might be in me is quite elusive. So another lot of blood tests in 4 weeks. We'll see if it is able to seek if there's more cancer in me that has been obtrusive. 26 September 2019. And this is mostly about the creon, which is what I take as enzymes. I take a creon pill or two when I eat to compensate for my pancreas that can't secrete enzymes that aid my digestion. Who am I to question? As my doc says, it helps cancer get beat. However, I must note that the creon makes a loud noise emanating from my bum without poise, but at least usually without a pong. Even though it sounds quite like a gong, I pretend it's one of those whoopee cushion toys. November the 1st. The day has come for the next prick in my arm. It's good to be welcomed by a nurse with great charm. She tells me treating cancer is not preferred to in and out medicine, as I well heard, as oncology can be repetitive and too calm. 27th November. Just back from my latest medical check. Doc said almost normal, so don't fret. Come back in February next year to again check if you're clear of cancerous growths that make you a wreck. My wife and I had fish and chip lunch, hearing the news, delighted that our feelings were not bruised. I'm now going to plan for my 75th party. Hope I will still then be healthy-ish and hearty, with the steamroller's loudness excused. The Steamrolls is my band, do a bit of rock and roll every few years. 2 years since I had the op called a Whipple. We're now in 2020. Replumb me so my insides do tickle. Have to go for another checkup, hoping that the results do not muck up, being in remission and getting back to getting in a pickle. So that's almost all of my verses, at least for now. To me, cancer is an adventure in how one can receive super treatment by people so very decent, giving you a chance to survive somehow. All I had to do was as I was told, and accept that I might die before I am that old, however old I am now, always trying to keep going as if I just had some ailment that to cope with keep normal, and with amazement it could be worse, as I might have a bad cold. What can I say to other cancer sufferers? I am surely far luckier than so many others, but always get yourself checked. What they say is most likely correct, and do your best to live with whatever they discover. I suppose that trying to write these silly rhymes keeps my mind off occasionally the hard times, and writing down as I go has helped me not feel low, keeping off thoughts of future mountains to climb. If you had read up to this end, you're amazing, the not very rhyming stuff I have penned, you deserve a big hug, although I have got the bug to keep going and set a new trend. Monday, 2nd of March 2020. Going for blood test and scan, heat in the bum from the jam that is injected in your arm, flows down but no harm, seeking out cancer I wish they could ban. Wednesday, on my way to find the result. Is it going to show there's a fault? Somewhere in my system I must carefully listen, as it might give me quite a jolt. On the other hand, it may show cancer-free, and then I may go, yippee! 'Cause if life can go on and I can sing a new song, may also go on an eating spree. Coincidentally, following yesterday evening, in the post came the results of bowel cancer screening. Showed nasty surprise, so am I being unwise to go into the doctor beaming? Nothing's going to stop me steamrolling at my 75th, where I'm certainly going. My friends may not appreciate 60s tunes, especially with the way that I croon, that afraid may sound exactly like crowing. Straight in and out of the docks in 3 minutes. No cancer there, so no limit to adventures with my wife to chart. Until death do us part, certainly no need to skim it. The whole world is facing a pandemic, so no dating. For parties that one day will take place, and a great bash will replace the cancelled one with rock music belting. September the 20th, well into all this pandemic lark. A further 6 months scan I have had, with a Zoom doc consultation, quite mad. All clear, I was told, but 2 highs in my blood be consoled, hoping not a new cancer launch pad. If I have to go back for further investigations of my liver, so I might have confrontations with 1 or 2 new ailments, so I have to join more patients who may be suffering not nice sensations. I'll write some more if they find my body won't cope. Maybe after all, I'll try out some dope. Only ever had 1 puff of the weed, and it did not succeed in getting me hooked. No way, nope. So I end with few thoughts of pain. Had a great walk with my wife in the rain. We have to help to find a way to screen for pancreatic cancer, as it is obscene. Relying on luck like I have is quite insane. Please, therefore, give much to support a cause that just has to press us to abort this hard to detect cancer some soon day by giving to Pancreatic Cancer UK, who will welcome your funds, anything over naught. So please give, and the link should be down below. Thank you for listening, even if you only listen to one or two verses. I am now going to have my lunch on today, which is October the 15th, 2020. Bye.